Hello and welcome to Conversations. I'm Robin Torres, your host. Our guest today is Crystal Watson, the newly elected member of the Kansas City, Kansas Board of Education. Crystal is a Kansas City, Kansas native, and prior to being elected on the Kansas City, Kansas School Board, she was an employee of the school district. Crystal also serves on various boards in both Kansas and Missouri, and we're very happy to have Crystal with us today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Robin.
Well, we know that you're a native of Kansas City, Kansas.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, I am happily married to Mr. Brian H. Watson. We have 4 sons. They are 27, 20, 16, and 10.
Wow.
All of our sons have been through the Kansas City, Kansas schools. And my 20-year-old is off to college, so I'm really excited about him. He's at the University of Southern Mississippi. I have been in Kansas City, Kansas almost all my life. My father was the former Neil Poindexter. He was on KMBZ, KMBR radio. A lot of folks remember him. And he was very active in the community. And so I feel like I've just kind of taken on. It's like the mantle has been passed.
Follow in his footsteps.
Follow in his footsteps.
There you go.
So just happily here in KCK.
And now you graduated from Wyandotte.
Ashford. I graduated from Wyandotte High School in 1982. So I'm a bulldog.
Okay.
Bulldog. I was there during the tenure of Thomas J. Roan. He was our principal then.
Okay.
And a recent graduate of Ashford University with my master's in organizational management.
Okay. Yeah. Very good. Now, prior to running for the school board, you were also an employee of the school district.
I was.
Can you tell us how long you were there and
Yes.
what was your role?
I was there from 2006 to 2009.
Okay.
I was the community foundation specialist.
Okay.
And so I was responsible for building new structure and reestablishing the KCK School Foundation for Excellence.
Okay.
I was also responsible for doing some marketing for the district. So I worked with David Smith very closely, in addition to serving as a community liaison for the district. So any community interest groups that were interested in partnering or doing some services for the district, they were directed to me by the superintendent, or from the superintendent's office anyway, and I would find that connection. I would connect them to the right department or the right group or classroom or schools, just to get groups talking and to work together.
Now, you implemented a couple of things while you were there.
I did.
Tell us what you implemented.
Adopt a School.
Tell us about that.
It's not a new concept. Many schools and businesses across the country come together to support schools. But it was introduced in 2006, and we started out with 9 schools that were adopted by several churches.
How were they selected, the schools?
Actually, we started out with the schools we felt like had the most need or needed the most support. And that was provided by the school itself, the district. And then from there, I just started recruiting churches. You know, these are the schools that need support. You know, would you be willing to help us out? And we partnered with communities in schools. And they're the ones that serve as a fiscal agent for Adopt a School. They raise the money for Adopt a School, and they administer the program. And I'm so proud of them. Dola Williams has been significant with it. She still carries the torch for that. Steve Goselchek is the director, and so I'm very proud of what Communities in Schools has done. Their board who approved for us to work and to partner, and so it's been, I think so far it's been a great success.
So what are the specific things that the sponsors did?
Sure.
For that?
I'll give you one in particular. Harmon High School was adopted by the church right across the street. And they started a program on Wednesdays. So every Wednesday afternoon, students could come across the street, and they had little mentoring programs or rap sessions or what have you that the ministers of the church worked with the students. And it was very simple. Their job was just really to be visible and to be available for the students. Okay. I think at some point they may have had snacks or what have you, But they just kept the kids active, allowed themselves to be open, to talk and to communicate, and to just build relationship.
Okay.
And so that's a good example of a church and a school working together.
Are these things still going on today?
I believe it is.
Okay.
I believe they're still very involved, the church across the street, or at least one of the ministers is. And I think that the district is up to about 13 schools that have been adopted by almost 16 churches. But communities and schools can give you accurate information.
Okay. Now, you were also very, very actively involved, if not head of, one of the biggest things in Kansas City, Kansas, and that was the Back to School
Yes, the Back to School Fair. It was a lot of fun. We probably served over 900 families. At one point, we would have anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 kids that would show up at that event. And that is a collaboration of businesses and nonprofit organizations in the community that would come together every year to make sure that our kids were able to have the supplies that they needed for school. Many of our students cannot afford book supplies or supplies that are needed, like pencil, paper, book bags. And so we were able to get donor sponsorships. Donors would contribute. Many churches, even in the KC metro area, it didn't matter whether it was Kansas or Missouri, Overland Park, people would send in donations and help us to distribute those services. In addition, many nonprofit service organizations were there. There are booths available. They can share what services they have to help families. It is just a wonderful event, and of course, they're doing it again this year.
They really are, and they're doing it right here on the campus. So
yes!
we're going to be very happy to have them here.
Yes.
So, and I'm excited. I did participate a little last year, and going to participate a little this year. So hopefully that goes just as successful as it has always.
You're absolutely right. I'm so glad it's going to be here at the college.
Me too.
And I hope the families can make it here to this location. I think they will, because for years we have the same families that come every year. They line up. You know, we've had them line up as early as 4 in the morning. So that just goes to show you how the need is so great. But what the organizations do in communities and schools works with us to do that.
Okay.
So they're one of my favorites. They do an excellent job. Really proud of what they do.
Very good. We're going to continue our conversation, but we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Every day, thousands of people are diagnosed with macular degeneration, a disabling eye disease that leads to severe vision loss. As a scientist conducting research for the American Health Assistance Foundation, I want you to know that there is hope that a cure and new treatments for macular degeneration will soon be found, but only if we can continue our groundbreaking research. Learn about my research. Call 1-800-437-2423 or visit ahaf.org for free publications on eye disease.
Hi, and welcome back. We're here with Crystal Watson, the newly elected member on the Kansas City, Kansas School Board of Education. And now we're going to get to where are you employed right now, and what is your role there?
Well, currently I'm employed with Truman Medical Center. I am the Director of Employee Experience. And my role there is to help build the employee experience in their first year a better one. There are a lot of statistics that show that if an employee starts a new job, if they're not pleased with it, they'll know in the first 4 months, 3 to 4 months.
True.
And all the money and the training that you invest in bringing that and the recruiting efforts that a company goes to bring that employee on board is literally thrown out the door if they're gone in the first 6 months to a year. And so my efforts are to help work through how we can make that a better experience for them in their first year.
Okay.
And then I'm also responsible for training and development. So I do a lot of professional training for management and entry-level management, as well as training on values and behaviors of the organization.
Okay, now let's go back to an employee.
Yes.
And what you do in developing them. What kind of things do you do to keep them on track and make sure that they're happy and want to remain an employed person at the Truman Medical Center?
You know, it first starts off with relationship. I really try to bond with every new hire that would walk through the door. So I was responsible for orientation, and I kind of get to know them. And then we keep up with them in their first year. And one of the ways that we do that is I round with the departments. I'll check on them, how are things going. And we're in the process of looking at other ways in which we can stay connected with the new employee.
Okay.
So the first thing is know that I'm available. And trust me, when they know you are, they come to you.
Okay, that's true.
And then secondly, survey what didn't go well. What could have been done better. Not just from your department, but as an organization. What could we have done? And so first of all, I did surveys and did actual feedback to ask them, how could we have done orientation better for you? And they gave me that honest feedback, and we have made changes along the way so that just that experience alone makes a difference for them to believe, you know what, we made the right choice by coming here.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds great. A lot of more companies need to implement that.
I know. Every time
that.
I tell someone what my title is, and they're like, "Wow, that's interesting." And to have a department that where we're focused on making the experience better, and then understanding what their needs are in terms of training, in terms of development. And so one of those things is values. We know what our values are at Truman, but what are the behaviors behind those values? Service is important, and in a healthcare institution, it's vital because the patient needs good quality service.
That's true.
But if the employee is not happy, how can our patients be happy? So the goal is to make happier employees. That's
Sounds wonderful. Sounds good. Sounds like you're doing a great job.
I love it.
So let's move into service, now that we're talking about that. Community service.
Yes.
You decided to run for the school board.
I did.
What made you want to run for the school board?
There are so many reasons why I wanted to run, but I would have to say the biggest number one reason why I wanted to run is because I had been a part of the district as an employee. And so as a staff member, I was very engaged and very excited about what I was doing. It gave me a chance to connect with the community because I was there to help build the image and show that we were concerned about our families and about our youth and about the community as a whole. I wanted to continue that, but in a different capacity. And knowing what my family has done and how they've contributed, starting with my father, I wanted to be a part of the solution with our organization, with our district. Education is getting harder and harder with all the budget cuts. And we've got to do some out-of-the-box thinking and be creative and connect more with community. And that doesn't mean just with our families, but it is also about the community as a whole in terms of business, in terms of churches, and in terms of the social services that are out there. So I felt like I've got a great opportunity. I'm now outside of the district on several other boards to see what's happening across the metro area. And I felt that this would be a great time to step on the board and be able to share some of that with the board and help the district along the way. So I know it's corny, but I really do want to make a difference.
No, that's not corny at all.
I feel like my life has purpose, and I feel like I am talented, and there's a lot that I can offer. And I want to be a good example to my sons. I don't want to just be a good mother and a good wife, but I don't want to just be a good employee. I want to do something that can touch the lives of others. And when people feel like they're not getting good education, I want to be part of the solution and say, yes, you are, and let me tell you how.
Okay.
So that's why I decided to run.
When you decided to run, you go home and you tell Brian and the kids, what do they think?
Well, first, my boys just looked at me like I was crazy. Okay, Mom. They were like, well, great. And my husband, he really wasn't surprised because he knows that I have a passion for community, for people. And he knows that I have a passion to bring out the best in others. And so while it was not a surprise, he also recognizes that it'll, interfere with home life a little bit. But he is very dedicated to kids too. He's very dedicated to our sons, and he cares about the students in our district. And so, he was just like, if that's what you want to do, go for it. And we'll just do it together.
Okay. What's the biggest change in the home? Has it been the dinner or just the time spending together?
Time spending together. But you know what? Yeah, that's a good thing, because now it forces us to spend more time together. And my husband is so supportive of everything I do. And the beautiful thing is that we work together as a team. And so if I'm not at home, then he's there. And we've always made this pact that one or the other is at home or participating with our sons in some shape, form, or fashion. So we haven't given up on that. It works well. There are the challenges, but he's so supportive, and I believe in him, and most of all, he believes in me. So the biggest thing is making time for each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful. We're going to take another break.
Okay.
Okay. And we'll be right back with Crystal Watson.
Just like the Air Force Thunderbird pilot I flew with, I have to make split-second decisions as a top fuel driver. Hi, I'm Brandon Bernstein, driver for Kenny Bernstein's 2010 Copart Lucas Oil Top Fuel Dragster. To make it in the NHRA, I've had to work hard, stay focused, and make smart decisions along the way. To reach your goals, you need to think straight, stay on track, and give your very best effort in everything you do. Make the right choices today and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Hi, and welcome back to Conversations. I'm Robin Torres, and we're here with Crystal Watson. So, Crystal, yes. I have a big question that I'm going to have to read for you.
Okay.
Can you compare the perspective of the school district from an employee standpoint to now a board member?
Oh, that's a very good question. As an employee, you see things differently. You see things in terms of people that you work with, interaction with students, interaction with parents, and you are very much engaged on that level in terms of knowing maybe firsthand what the need is, or how to do your job and to make sure that it serves and is in the best interest of everyone. The perspective from the board, number one, is that I am walking into a board that has an excellent reputation of cohesiveness. You've got very experienced staff on that board, and they're not so much staff, but they've been staff in other arenas that were prestigious and reputable in their own rights. And so entering this board is exciting for me, number one, because I get to sit with the famous, George Brightenthal, and the famous, Gloria Willis and Linda Pendleton and Vicki Meyer and Brenda Jones and Evelyn Hudson. And so, and that alone says something different about how you're going to make decisions, how you're going to work with a tenured team that several of them have been together for a number of years. The perspective I have is coming on as a team player, but in a whole different facet, because the decisions that we make not just impact as an employee what I'm specifically tasked to do, but decisions impact a broader spectrum. It goes across the board. That excites me because it's a real challenge to make the right decisions, to do the right things, and to support the superintendent. That job is a big job. And so I believe that Dr. Lane is very capable of being well informed. She's very knowledgeable, and she cares about our kids, and she cares about their education. So to be able to help her in a different capacity is interesting, because I used to work for Dr. Lane.
Okay. Right.
And so I have a lot of respect and a lot of love for her. And so I see it as an opportunity to help more,
Okay.
you know. And so that's the big difference, you know. It was much more specific to, okay, I've got this job to do, you know, and do it well. And now this job, you know,
It's
serves,
bigger.
yes, it's so much broader. And you've got others to work with and to work with as a team. And so I'm excited about that.
Now, being a newly elected member,
Yes.
is there any training required that you
Yes, I
go
went through the Kansas State Board of Education, and they have an all-day training session. And then there are staff on the Kansas Board of Education that, if you have any questions or concerns, they are there and available to assist you during the time that you are a Board of Education member.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Have you been to your first board meeting?
I've been to some of the board meetings, you know, just sitting in the audience. And when I used to work for the district, I was there all the time. My first board meeting will be July 19th.
Okay.
That's when I'll be sworn in.
Okay.
So I'm official July 1,
Okay.
but I'm sworn in on the 19th. So that'll be my first official board meeting.
Well, that's going to be coming up next week.
Yes! Next Tuesday.
Right. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But you serve on other community boards. You're a community service person.
Yes.
So give us your list of other boards that you serve on.
Okay. I am on first of all, here in Kansas City, Kansas, I'm on the board for Wyandotte Center. And I've been on that board since the beginning of this year. I'm also on the board, Workforce Investment Board for Eastern Jackson County. That is in Kansas City, Missouri. I represent Truman Medical Center. And I love being on that board because it gives me an opportunity to see what jobs are out there, what industries are booming, what's not, where our discrepancies are in terms of employment and so forth, and how it impacts youth and community as a whole. And while it does it just for Kansas City, Missouri, Eastern Jackson County area, it's great information to help me for KCK.
Right.
And then I'm also president of the Kansas Black Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
And I've been serving in that capacity as CEO since 2007. So it was 4 years now.
Okay.
Ooh, 4 years.
How's the membership there?
Oh,
Is
it's
it
doing
growing?
wonderful. We are growing day by day. We're at a new location on 736 Armstrong. So we're downtown KCK. Ever since we moved there, probably it was about November or December, we had our open house in May, and we are just continually growing. We've got an incubator coming up very soon, so I'm hoping we'll have an open house in August sometime, but we'll be able to have 4 small business owners move in.
Cool.
And I can't wait for that to happen.
Okay.
So that's a huge accomplishment for the Black Chamber.
Okay, now, and we're going to be running out of time really quickly, but I want to know what you did with Congressman Dennis Moore.
Yes, that was phenomenal. I was on the Black Congressional Cabinet for former Congressman Dennis Moore, and I served on a committee, and the committee I served on was education. And so our job was just to look at some of the issues out there in terms of education and support Congressman Moore in information, enhance his knowledge in those areas. And when he went out to fight or to propose any bills or to support any bills, particularly related for education, because that was my committee, that is what I did. But there were committees for business, for health care. There were about four or five committees, if not more than that. And it was a great opportunity. I absolutely love working for him and getting close to him and seeing his concern for 3rd District.
And where is he now? He's retired, I know.
I believe he's retired, and I'm not sure where he is. I haven't
Okay.
seen him. He's probably chilling out somewhere. I know I would.
One last question. Out of all the things that you've done and continue to do, what do you do for fun?
Woo, what do I do for fun? I sit in the gym and watch my sons play basketball.
Okay, that's fun.
And
we've been in gyms together,
yes,
so we know
have.
about that. Yeah.
That's my greatest fun in going on the trips, you know, to see them play. And then the other thing I love to do for fun is I love to be at home and watch movies with my hubby.
Okay.
I love doing that. That's one of my favorite things. But then, you know what? I love life.
Right.
So anything that is not work related and I can laugh and, you know, and I can just be myself. I love to have people over, family. I love to socialize and, you know, and just have fun. So it doesn't take much for me to have fun, Robin.
Okay. Well, and I've known that, and I know that you are that type of person. So, and it's really good because every time I see you, you do have a smile on your face. You're happy. Yes. You're talking about community service and the things that you do, the things that your son did.
Yes.
And
fun to me, you believe it or not, I love teaching Sunday school at my church.
Okay.
I belong to Mount Carmel, Church of God in Christ, Pastor Sims, Urban Sims, and he's a wonderful leader. And being in that church has helped me stay connected to community as well. So
great. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. I'm very happy that you came, and congratulations on your newly elected position, and good luck with that. And I know the school district will be very, very valued to have you. So,
well, I'm valuable, and they're just as valuable for me to be there. So.
Well,
thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us this time on Conversations, and we'll see you next time.